Piers Morgan is what you would consider to be an enlightened centrist. He is a English journalist who now is basically doing a tabloid show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. He used to work for the BBC. They wouldn't let him in anymore because of some of the crazy ass shit that he said. But now he seems to be thriving here in America. And for the last 18 months or so, or 19 months, that Israel has been doing a blockade on Gaza, Piers Morgan has been playing both sides of it, going, well, this side says this and this side says this. I'm going to bring on somebody who is going to, say that Israel is doing a genocide, and then I'm going to bring on an Israeli propagandist who is going to say, no, it's not. I haven't seen any dead bodies. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just closing my eyes. I have no idea. What are you talking about? Nobody's dying. I don't see anything. I see nothing. I hear nothing, but I got plenty to say, and it's all bad because Hamas. Anyway, there's a really good reporter. His name is Jesus Christ, Mehdi Hasan, sorry. And Mehdi Hasan, who I believe used to work for, I want to say CNN, or was it MSNBC? I can't remember. But he recently, like a year ago, he got fired, along with a lot of other brown Muslim reporters. And he started his own channel called Zateo. You should check it out. It's very good. And Mehdi Hasan has been a staple on Piers Morgan. He's usually one of the people that is like, yeah, man, Israel is doing a genocide. And he's been hitting Piers over the head with this for quite a while. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened out of the blue. Maybe it was the starving children that Piers saw, but he has changed his mind. Piers Morgan he's not playing both sides of the fence anymore. He has, I guess he has seen enough of the starvation and the bombing of Gazans, and he's done. He's done playing both sides and riding the fence. And here he is on his show. And he's got Dave Smith, who is a libertarian, which I agree with him about maybe 20-30% of the time, on foreign affairs and what have you. Don't get me started on libertarian economics, because it's pie in the sky, absolute crazy batshit stuff. But Dave Smith doesn't really get a chance to talk here. And we've got an Israeli representative, I think she's a lawyer, and Piers Morgan gives her the beat down of a fucking lifetime. He is not having any of her nonsense, and it's glorious to watch. So let's enjoy.
To the leaders of the world's Jewish state because of its abysmal
reputation. Is there anyone who criticises the Israeli government that you don't think is doing so for political reasons or because they're being deluded by lies?
Oh my goodness, yes.
In other words, is anybody actually acting, do you think, with any integrity when they criticise the Israeli government? Because you make it sound like everyone's either stupid, deluded, or politically motivated.
Within Israel, there is the most vibrant political debate and criticism that you will see anywhere. What I'm calling out are the lies and the falsehoods and the blood libels that are being propagated. And
I was told by the ambassador to UK it was a blood libel for me to suggest that Israel had killed children in this war.
I don't believe that was the case.
There
It
was.
has to do with targeting children.
No.
And there is a difference.
Right.
Because we are hearing that Israel is targeting children, and that couldn't be further from
Well,
the
last
fact.
week, 9 out of 10 children in one home where 2 doctors reside were killed in an airstrike.
Well,
What was that?
Remarkable.
Well, what was that?
That has been based only on the basis of hearsay.
You don't believe that story?
I want these stories.
Wait a minute. You don't believe that those children were killed?
I have seen conflicting accounts, and I want that story to be properly investigated before the international media runs with it. I have
you think those 2 parents, one of whom I think operated on one of the children.
I have a question.
Do you think that those 2 doctors, the parents, they just made it up?
Why are
that
those
9 of their
children
10 children had been blown to pieces by an Israeli airstrike?
If this is true,
you don't believe it?
Well, why on earth was artificially generated imagery used to promote this story when it first happened?
I've got to say, Natasha, I think what you've just said about that family is despicable.
We've seen time
I'm sorry, it's despicable. Somebody, you talk about blood libel, like Dave said, you talk about blood libel, you talk about lies, you talk about promoting propaganda, and here you sit here as a lawyer and you say that you do not believe those 9 children were killed.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth.
Do you believe it or not?
I said that there were conflicting accounts and it needs to be investigated.
Do you believe it?
I thought you would be
the parents said 9 of their 10 children were killed. Do you believe them or not? Or did those 2 doctors make it up?
They haven't said that directly as far as I have seen. I have seen second-hand accounts and hearsay. But it's important to ask, why are these civilians still there? Why is it that
actually, no, it's important to ask whether you believe that.
Why are they still there? Because you won't let them leave. It is a open-air prison camp. Palestinians cannot leave that place. They can't go. They're fenced in. Why are they still there? God, man, she's fucking reaching.
Family have lost 9 of their 10 children.
I want to know why the international community...
You don't. And this goes to the point that I would say about Israel generally now, in this war now. Israel says they don't believe anything. Every story that comes out about the deaths of civilians in Gaza, someone will pop up representing the Israeli government saying, it's propaganda, it's not true, I've heard it's not right, I've heard it didn't happen. And the reason you can get away with it, frankly, is because you won't allow, the Israeli government won't allow, I don't want to keep putting you in the government, but you defend them. The Israeli government refuses to allow international journalists to get in there and do their job and verify whether any of these things are actually happening when you say they didn't happen.
I can help you with why. I've been there in September and seen a great deal of the Hamas terror infrastructure with my own eyes, including the fact that when we were in Rafah, every second building was being used
Did you see any dead
by
children?
Hamas. No, and this is the important factor.
Why do you think that?
Our movement...
Is that because there aren't any, or because you were being given a sanitized little tour, which didn't involve seeing the bodies of dead children?
We were very restricted because of the nature of the battlefield.
What right does the IDF have to restrict journalists doing their job?
Good
in
question.
every other war I've ever been involved in, including sending my Daily Mirror journalists to cover the Iraq war in Baghdad, where they rang me at midnight to ask if they should leave or stay in a hotel, the Baghdad Hilton, I think it was called, before shock and awe arrived. So huge responsibility on my shoulders then about the lives of my journalists, but they were prepared to risk them to report the truth to the wider world. Israel has decided no journalists from outside can go in
for 3 reasons
and make that assessment themselves.
Yes.
What right does Israel have to do that?
For 3 reasons. Will you allow me to finish?
Well, there are no reasons. It's none of your business whether the journalists view their safety as being at risk.
I'm sorry, you haven't heard the reasons yet. The first, of course, is the safety of the journalists, and I appreciate you don't accept that. The second...
I think it's a load of nonsense.
The second is the safety...
The idea you're doing is that some quaint concern for the safety of journalists is bullshit.
That was reason number 1. Reason number 2 is the ability of IDF soldiers to be able to conduct this war against Hamas without...
without the journalists getting in the way?
No, without...
Actually, by the way, they've killed more journalists, Palestinian journalists, than in any war.
Over 200.
Hamas wearing press vests are not journalists. And reason number 3...
So none of them are journalists?
And reason number 3...
So just to be clear, none of the Palestinian journalists who've been killed are actually journalists.
I said Hamas members.
Are they all Hamas members?
Those that are...
Every single dead Palestinian journalist is a member of Hamas. Is that your position?
No, listen, I appreciate Piers.
That is also bullshit.
But misrepresenting every...
So that's 2 out of 2. What's the third reason?
Our mutual friend Douglas Murray was embedded with the IDF in Lebanon.
You said the words yourself. I love Douglas, but he was embedded with the IDF.
Right.
He's unbelievably pro-Israel. So of course he was going to write what he witnessed while embedded with the IDF.
No, let me finish what his experiences there were. The difference is that...
You have to tell me.
There is something I think that you won't have heard. The IDF are able to allow journalists into Lebanon. He wasn't the only one. There were many other international journalists with him.
No.
Those other international journalists with him were very clear.
There have been a tiny handful of journalists led in by the IDF in tightly controlled environments to witness what the IDF were prepared to let them see.
And you know what those
actually what it needs
said?
this war, to stop the bullshit, which is out of control, by the way, in this last 3 minutes, is to let international journalists go in and do their jobs. And they will worry with their networks or organizations about their safety, but they should be allowed to do their jobs. And there's only one reason why the Israeli government doesn't want international journalists crawling all over Gaza. It's because they do not want them reporting what they will find. Which, by the way, will include the bodies of thousands of children who you, on the Israeli side, are not counting as you count the terrorists you kill, but who journalists would.
Reason number 3 is...
God damn. I mean, that was a beat down. That was a beat down. Man, don't ask her if she's hurt, man. She is fucking tore up. Oh my God. Like I said, Piers Morgan has been a enlightened centrist for quite a while, playing both sides of the fence, and obviously he is done with that shit. He's seen too much. We've all seen too much. I mean, this woman right here would say that the 4-year-olds that get shot in the head, those are the terrorists. Those are Hamas. I heard a statistic not too long ago that just made me want to cry, that the reason why a lot of the children are from age 6 to 9 is because they are too big for their parents to carry, and they're too small to outrun gunfire. This woman right here is just another in a long line of Israeli propagandists to say, don't look here, don't look here. You know, like Piers was saying, they're not allowing any kind of reporter, international reporters to come in, because they would find a shitload of dead bodies. And the people that they are letting in are being given a sanitized tour of Gaza, surrounded by IDF soldiers going, well, you can't go in there. Well, why can't we go in there? Oh, there's Hamas in there, you can't go in there. Well, that building looks like a big old pile of rubble. Why can't we go look at it? It's Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. Well, what about that child right there? Hamas. What about that mother right there? Hamas. Everything is fucking Hamas. Hiding under every rock and every crevice is Hamas. October 7th was horrible. It was wretched, and 1,200 Israelis died in that attack. Now, it wasn't the beginning of the war. This war has been going on since the fucking Nakba in the 40s. For over 75 years, this war has been going on. It didn't start on October 7th. The 1,200 Israelis died, about half soldiers, half citizens. And it was tragedy. It's awful. And it should be condemned. I'm condemning it right here. But at the same time, how much revenge is enough? Official estimates have stopped counting at around 50,000 people. Many more estimates from outside sources say that it could be anywhere between 200,000 to 500,000 dead people. Children are not being fed. There is no medicine going in. Gaza has the largest population of children with prosthetic limbs because they're blown up or they're shot off. What are we talking about here? We're seeing them with our own eyes, and between Donald Trump and propagandists like that woman there, and Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, when they talk about blood libel, I mean, that is some blood libel shit, talking about these are human animals and we're going to do group punishment on everybody because they're all Hamas. You know, when you have Bibi Netanyahu talking about how we need to go after their families and their animals and their, you know, everything that their livestock, you know, quoting bits of the Bible. They are some vicious bastards, man. The leadership in Israel are psychotic. And they hire people like that woman right there to just go on with their talking points. But when you come in contact with somebody who is just done with the bullshit, that they've seen too much, they get the shit beat out of them verbally. Just like Piers did with her. And she deserved it. She deserved every last little bit of that. Talking her fucking nonsense. You know, pretending like that 200 journalists that have been killed inside of Gaza, they're all Hamas. They're all Hamas. They're just wearing press vests, but they're Hamas. Those children, they're future Hamas members. You know, those young mothers out there, they're going to give birth to Hamas. Hamas was elected in 2006. The young children that are dying have got nothing to do with that election that happened almost 20 years ago. They weren't even alive then. But you can't stop the killing. The bloodlust is just full on. Full on. God damn, man. I'm glad that Piers Morgan decided to wake up and see what happened. And I welcome that kind of smackdown. Anytime that, you know, anytime he wants to invite on a Israeli propagandist, I hope he gives him the tongue lashing that he just gave that woman, because that was fucking glorious, and she deserved every bit of it. Anyway, that's the show for today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for sticking around. Please, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. We got, some big heavy stuff coming this weekend. So like I said before, please be careful if you're going to go out and protest. And hopefully you guys will, will stick around, and I will be posting more videos, in regards to that kind of stuff. Let's see if I can get some live footage from the protests and see if I can post that as well. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.